Welcome to the latest episode of Power Struggles, the podcast where we dive deep into the most epic who would win scenarios in the world of myth, gaming, and pop culture. I am your host, the Lionheart, and today we have an absolute banger for you. We're talking about a battle between two gods, two warriors with immense power, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King from Journey to the West, and Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta from the God of War series. It's East meets West in a mythological showdown. But before we dive into the battle, let's break down each other's background, their strengths, abilities, and feats. We're going to go in depth and cover everything from stats to skills and finally give our verdict on who would come out on top. So buckle in for a wild ride. Let's start off with Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King. For those unfamiliar, Wukong is one of the most iconic characters in Chinese mythology, originating from the Journey to the West, a 16th century novel. Wukong is not just a hero, he's a trickster, a warrior, and a demigod, all wrapped in one. But what makes him truly terrifying in a battle are his immense powers and the fact that he's essentially immortal. Let's break it down. Starting with Wukong's stats and abilities, we'll go to strength. Wukong is capable of lifting the legendary Ruyi Jingu Bang, also known as his staff, which weighs about 17,000 pounds. Not only can he lift it, but he also wields it with incredible speed and precision. His physical strength alone is enough to put him on par with gods and demons alike. Now let's go off to speed. Wukong's speed is unreal. I mean, he can travel 108,000 li in a single somersault, which, if some of you don't know what that means, it equates to roughly 34,000 miles. That's faster than the speed of light, making him almost untouchable in terms of movement. Combat skills. Wukong is a master martial artist and a strategist. He's trained with celestial beings, fought thousands of demons, and can battle entire armies by himself. His staff, the Ruyi Jingu Bang, can extend to any length he desires and shrink down to a needle's size, giving him both range and versatility in combat. Now we're going to go to immortality, and here's the kicker. You ready for this? All right. Wukong has multiple forms of immortality. He tricked death by erasing his name from the book of life and death, consumed the peaches of immortality, and drank the elixir of life, and survived being incinerated in Laozi's 8 trigrams furnace for 49 days. This means he's practically unkillable. Now, shape-shifting and cloning. Sun Wukong can transform into virtually anything he wants. Humans, animals, objects, and he has mastered the art of creating clones. He can summon up to 72, you heard me, 72 versions of himself in battle, multiplying his strength and presence on the battlefield. And then we go to his magic and spells. He has an array of magical abilities, including controlling the weather, summoning elements like fire and water, and commanding armies of monkeys. His skills in magic make him a dangerous foe both in direct combat and strategically. Now we move on to our other contestant. Now let's shift our focus to Kratos, the God of War. First introduced in 2005 God of War game, Kratos has come a long way, evolving from a vengeful Spartan warrior to a god killer, and more recently, a father figure. He's fought Greek and Norse gods alike, and there's no denying that Kratos is one of the most powerful characters in video game history. I'm sorry, I kind of blanked out for a minute, guys, because I'm trying to go by everything from my research. But how does he stack up against Wukong? Well, let's break down his stats and abilities. We'll go off to strength. Kratos' strength is godlike. He's ripped off the heads of gods, fought and killed titans, and overpowered enemies that dwarf him in size. Whether he's ripping apart colossal beasts or pushing massive structures, Kratos' strength is much about sheer brute force as it is about precision in combat. Now, durability and endurance. Kratos is incredibly tough. He's been stabbed, beaten, burned, and endured unimaginable pain throughout his journey. And yet, he survives. He's even fought his way out of Hades more than once, showing a tenacity that rivals even Sun Wukong's immortality. Now we go off to weapons and gear. Now Kratos wields some of the most iconic weapons in gaming history. His primary weapons include the Blades of Chaos, the Leviathan Axe, and the Blade of Olympus. Each of these weapons comes with their own abilities, whether it's fire-based attacks, frost magic, or even divine power. In addition, Kratos has various runes and relics that enhance his capabilities in combat. Now, speaking of combat, we'll talk about his combat skills. Kratos is a master of several forms of combat. His fighting style blends brutal melee attacks with strategic weapon use. He's trained as a sparring warrior, which means he's well versed in warfare. And he's also skilled in adapting to different situations, from fighting gods to monstrous creatures. Now we'll go on to divine abilities. Kratos is not just a warrior, he's a god. In his prime, he had access to immense power granted by his godhood, including controlling the power of lightning, fire, and more. Even after abandoning much of his godhood, Kratos retains a deep connection to divine magic, and he frequently channels it in combat. Now, we talk about the other skills he has. The Rage of Sparta and Spartan Fury. Kratos' anger is his most powerful weapon. He can tap into the Rage of Sparta, an unstoppable fury that amplifies his strength and allows to unleash devastating attacks. It's not just a boost in strength, it's an overwhelming force of nature. Now, we're going to get on to the next segment, which is the battle breakdown. Alright? Now, we've looked at both contenders. Let's break down how a fight between Sun Wukong and Kratos might play out. On one side, we have a near-immortal shape-shifting speed demon demigod with mastery over magic. On the other, we have a war-hardened god-killer who has taken down pantheons of deities. Now, we go to the battle strength versus strength. While Wukong's strength is impressive, Kratos has consistently proven that he can overcome physically stronger enemies through strategy and sheer will. However, Wukong's shape-shifting abilities and magical staff gives him an edge in versatility. We go on to durability, where Kratos has taken an unbelievable amount of punishment and kept going. His endurance is legendary, but Wukong's multiple layers of immortality make him an incredibly difficult opponent to put down for good. Now, speed versus skill. Wukong's speed is his ace card. His ability to move faster than light makes him nearly untouchable. However, Kratos has fought gods with immense speed before and managed to adapt and overcome. He likely uses battlefield awareness and weapon versatility to slow Wukong down. Magic versus divine power. While both characters have access to powerful magic, Wukong's mastery over the elements and his ability to create clones give him a serious edge. Kratos, however, could use his divine powers and weapons like the Blade of Olympus to negate some of that magic. Intangibles. This fight may also come down to sheer willpower and tactics. Wukong is a master trickster and has outwitted gods before, while Kratos is driven by raw emotion and a refusal to lose. His Spartan rage could potentially tip the balance in his favor. So, who would win in a battle between Sun Wukong or Kratos? Now, while Kratos is undoubtedly one of the most powerful warriors in gaming, Sun Wukong's immortality, speed, and magical prowess would likely give him the edge in a prolonged battle. Kratos could deal immense damage, but ultimately Wukong's sheer versatility and resilience would prove too much. Unless Kratos found a way to bypass Wukong's immortality, the Monkey King would likely come out on top. That said, Kratos' incredible feats shouldn't be dismissed. If he found a way to exploit Wukong's weaknesses, or if the battle were fought in a world where Kratos could negate some of Wukong's abilities, the outcome could shift in his favor. But as it stands, Sun Wukong is just too adaptable and too resilient. Thanks for tuning in today's episode of Power Struggles. Let us know what you think. Did we get it right? Could Kratos pull off the win? Make sure to hit us up on social media and tell us who you think would win in this mythological matchup. And until next time, keep battling. Goodbye and good night. Bang.